Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good evening. You are listening to Open Forum on IKIM Radio and I'm your host Annie Zahura Abdul Aziz. And once again, we thank you for tuning in to IKIM FM. Alhamdulillah, it is with great pleasure for me to introduce two special guests that we have all the way from Great Britain. We have Brother Muhammad Yusuf Bashforth and Brother Junaid Rahim in the studio today. Assalamualaikum, brothers.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salam. You look great.
Absolute pleasure to be here.
It's wonderful to be here. I keep pinching myself. I think this is just a dream. This is amazing.
So this is your first time in Malaysia?
In Malaysia, yes.
What a beautiful place
What
this
an
is.
awesome country.
You know,
Wow.
not only
Mashallah.
I mean, we've left the bleak north of England
Yes,
to come
yeah,
over to
yeah.
beautiful
The current
sunshine.
weather in the UK
Yeah,
is
it's not
yes,
good.
yeah.
It's not good. And we come over here. We've got gorgeous weather. We've
Yeah.
got lovely temperature, humidity. Exactly what I like.
Yeah.
And not only that, but we've got two other great things. Number one is the people here.
Yes.
The beautiful people, always smiling.
Always smiling. It's
and,
incredible.
You know, it's wonderful. I wish that was infectious and we could catch that.
Yes.
Because,
Bottle it and
always
take
smile,
it home.
It's wonderful. And also we've got the food.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Wow.
Alhamdulillah.
So you celebrating Ramadan, the first few days of Ramadan in
Yes,
Kuala
yes,
Lumpur.
yeah,
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then basically we are inviting you to Open Forum to to discuss and also to share with our listeners about your journey to Islam and also
Okay,
about
of
what
course.
you're currently doing
Yep.
with regard to promoting Islam in
Yes.
Great Britain.
Yeah.
So maybe you can just share with us about your journey to Islam. For I've made known that you've been Muslim for many years. Actually, it's not recent. It's not.
I get called a new Muslim,
Yes.
and I've been a new Muslim now for nearly 30 years. Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And Junaid here,
For almost 20. It's approaching 20 years now. Wow.
still a new Muslim.
I know, but still a new Muslim, which we love. Because we are. We're learning every single
We're
day.
supposed to refresh our iman every day.
Yes,
every
that's
second.
right.
So basically,
Exactly.
I think that's very apt to call becoming
Yes.
new Muslims every day and every second.
Yes,
So can you just share with us about your journey to Islam?
certainly yes.
Okay.
Should we quickly give our introduction as well? Should we introduce ourselves?
Yeah.
Why not?
Go on.
Okay.
You start.
Assalamu alaikum
Wa rahmatullahi.
wa barakatuh.
My name's Junaid Rahim.
My name's Muhammad Yusuf Bashforth.
We're affectionately known as.
The two white Muslims.
Now, whilst some people have a difficulty figuring out exactly why that might be the case, we're reassuringly relied upon the fact that there are three very good reasons why. Reason number one,
There are two of us.
yes. And reason number two,
We are white.
but most importantly, alhamdulillah, reason number three,
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. We're both
Muslim.
Muslim.
And incredibly proud to be so.
I'm proud to be.
And by your very question, we haven't always been. You know, we walk this path now because of changes that have happened in our life, because of, Allah's placed people in front of us at just the right time. And it alhamdulillah, it's amazing to be embraced within this religion, within this deen. And wow, every morning it's just joy into it.
It's a special life that we have.
It is.
And you've asked about our journey to Islam, and if you don't mind, sir, I'll start with mine.
Okay, there we go.
You just sit quiet.
I will.
listen and learn.
And for the benefit of our listeners, it'll be Brother Yusuf talking.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so I was born and raised as a Roman Catholic.
Okay.
So I went to Catholic school. I went to church every Sunday. I was an altar boy. My uncle was a parish priest. I was very much into my faith at that stage, and I felt very special as a child because I had the love of two loving parents and a bunch of siblings as well. But I also had the love of God, which made me feel quite special. So I was very happy in my Christian Catholic life. I was very happy, and it got to a stage though where I started asking questions. Okay, and I was asking questions that were troubling me, and all I ever got was just a patronising pat on the head.
Okay.
that said, just have faith, son. Don't ask these questions, just have faith, son. And I'm afraid that's not enough for me.
Okay.
I hide this very well, and I don't often show this side of myself, but I am an intelligent guy.
Yeah, you hide it very well.
I do, yes.
To be fair.
Oh, thank you. None taken.
None
Janelle,
taken. None intended.
Thanks. But, not getting the answers that I needed, I started really drifting away from the institution, but not drifting away from my faith in God. That's always been a constant in my life. But coming away from the institution, because what I saw was people would get themselves dressed up in their Sunday best, as they say. They'd go to church for 1 hour and come away, and that's the end of it. That's their commitment, that's their relationship with God. And I was thinking, it can't be just for 1 hour a week. This is ridiculous. So I left the institution of the church. I left it behind. And I wasn't exactly looking for anything new, but I knew that I didn't want to be part of that anymore. So I was like that for nearly 10 years, almost 10 years. So 10 years later, and I was 28 years old at that stage, I found myself working in an office in a city called Bradford in England, and Bradford has a very, very large Muslim population. So I had Muslims in an office and I hadn't really met Muslims before. I didn't know what Muslims were. I didn't know who they were and what they were all about. So when I asked similar questions of them, I was amazed. They gave me the answers.
That you were looking for.
Absolutely. And they gave me them. And if I asked a question that they couldn't give me an answer to, they'd say, I'll come back tomorrow. I'll research that tonight and I'll come back tomorrow. They never made anything up, which was really refreshing.
And when they gave you those answers, what did they back it up with?
Evidence.
Sources.
Quran, Sunnah, etc. So, I found myself really in a place where I didn't expect to be in the pursuit of my relationship with God. But I was given a copy of the Quran. Yeah, Quran. I opened the Quran after 6 months. I left it on a shelf for 6 months. I was determined not to read this thing. But one day I took it down. I had a wash, as I'd been instructed to do. I opened up the Quran, and the first thing that I read was Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This Quran was English translated as well, so in the name of Allah, the compassionate, the merciful. And I was thinking, that's a great way to start a book. That's a great way to start. So you read on then the first page, and we all know what the first page of the Quran is. It's Surah Al-Fatiha, and each line, it was almost like in my head I had a pencil and I was ticking off each line. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Yes, I agree with that. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, of course. Yes. Maliki Yawmiddin. Yes, he's the owner of the Day of Judgment. Yeah. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. So it's you alone that we worship. It's you alone that we turn to for help. And as I was reading these lines, I was thinking, this is brilliant. This is exactly what I believe. And when I got to the bottom of that page, I was turning to the back of that book to see who had written this thing. I was thinking, this is genius. Who wrote this? Yeah, well, I didn't know then what I know now. We all know that Allah wrote this, and that. But that really made a massive impact on me. Just the first page, and it made it almost impossible to put that book down. And then you go into Surah Al-Baqarah. Here is a book, Dhalikul Kitab La Rayb, there's no doubt. Yeah, Hudal Muttaqin, guidance for those who believe, for those who, etc. And it really systematically answered everything that I'd ever wanted answering in a way that I fully understood. And at the end of reading that book, which took about 6 months, but at the end of reading that book, I kind of made my decision. I think I know where I need to go. So I bought myself a man dress and and found a mosque. And luckily I was put in touch with an amazing guy who just helped me from that point on. Anyway, over to Junaid.
Yes.
You can
Right.
speak now.
Yeah, absolutely. My turn. My turn. My, I suppose, journey is rather similar in the respect that I didn't know anything about Islam. My ignorance knew absolutely no bounds. I genuinely knew nothing. I was born as a Christian, part of the Church of England. I was raised as a Christian, part of the Church of England. We went to school. I went to Sunday school. As a child, I joined perhaps the most inappropriately named church group. It was actually called the Crusaders,
Okay.
which by all accounts, maybe not the best. And so that was every Friday and then every Sunday as well. And I loved it, loved learning about the Bible and about God, and very much like Yusuf was saying, knowing that there was something bigger than yourself that was there to help and to protect and to guide was just lovely. It was fantastic. But then as I grew up, a little bit younger than Yusuf, certain other things kind of came into my life, like cars and football, and things to distract you from the religious aspect, I suppose. And I just found myself wandering away from the church just because there were other things attracting me in the dunya, in effect. And it was some time later I was living what I considered to be a great life. I had a lovely car, I had a lovely house, I had a great job, and I was delivering training courses. And one of the courses that we delivered was a 2-week residential training course. So it took 2 weeks to deliver this course. And it was all over 1-2 week period, and we were in a hotel with the people who were resident on the course. And normally with these guys, you'd get talking in the evening, and you'd have a bit of banter and you'd have a laugh, and it was a great course to run. And then I was running a course one time, and there was 2 guys on the course who they weren't eating or drinking, and so I just wanted to make sure that they were okay. Is everything okay? Is everything okay with the food? And they said, "Oh no, no."
Are you well?
Yeah, are you well? Is everything all right?
You're not ill, are you?
Yeah. Is this me? Is this me? And they said, "Oh no, it's part of our religion. We're fasting." I said, "Oh, right, okay." So when you say fasting, what? Surely you can have water. Oh no, what? And so it turned out it was Ramadan. I didn't know what Ramadan was, but it was Ramadan. I now know that our hearts, our eyes are open during Ramadan, and I found myself fascinated by these guys and just wanting to converse with them and talk with them all the time. And where everybody else was disappearing elsewhere and doing other things, I was just sitting talking to these guys, saying, "Oh, so when you say it's part of the religion, what does that mean? What is the religion?" Well, it's Islam. We're Muslims. Oh wow, I don't know any Muslims. Tell me about Muslims then. And they just said, "Well, have you heard of anybody called Adam?" So of course I've heard of Adam. He's one of ours, and they said, "Well, actually, we love Adam. Adam's amazing. Have you heard of Jesus?" And I'm like, "No, hang on just a second. Hang on. What do you?" And they said, "Jesus, he's one of our. He's a prophet. He's amazing. We love Jesus. We love Jesus. Do you know Noah? Do you know Job? Do you know Lot? Do you know Jacob? Do you know Joshua?" I don't know. What? And all of these names that I'd learned at Sunday school, they were all now pinging. I'm thinking, oh, no, hang on, this is all mine. How can you? And the similarities were extraordinary. But as we were conversing, and I was then just sapping them for information, getting as much information from them as I possibly could. And as I'm asking, I found myself answering questions that I didn't know I'd been asking. So, well, where did all these people fit in? Because we're not really explained that at Sunday school. Your main focus, understandably, is Jesus Christ. And I'm like, well, I know about Moses and I know about David, but who are they? Who are these people if we've got this Jesus Christ as the Son of God? So who are these people? And then they would say, well, actually, no, Jesus Christ is amazing. He's a wonderful, and we love him. I mean, there's an entire chapter of the Quran is dedicated to his mother Mary, and I'm like, what? And they said, but he's a prophet. He's a prophet, and we have a long line of prophets from Adam all the way through to Jesus, and then more recently to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I'm like, I get it. I get it. And it just answered so many questions that I didn't know I'd been asking. And all of a sudden, the religion made sense. You know what I mean? And things that I kind of just accepted before without thought, now I didn't have to accept without thought because there was evidence, there was information, there was a logical timeline. And I was just, people saying, we've got to start the training again. I'm like, in a minute, I just want to talk to these guys. And it was alhamdulillah, it was just incredible, and it was a life-changing moment. And then the course ended, they went away, and I was just on the phone every day. So what about? And I was just asking question after question, and I recognise now I was looking for the flaw. I was looking for the thing that was wrong, because I think in my heart I knew where these conversations were taking me, and I'm thinking, I can't do this. And I could feel myself being drawn to this incredible, beautiful, perfect religion. So I was looking for the problems, I was looking for the issues, I was looking for the flaws. And it took me about 5 or 6 months to realise I couldn't find any. It is perfection. It's beautiful, it's simple, it's perfect. And so much like Yusuf, I found a mosque. Well, in fact, they said, I think we've answered all the questions we can. You now need to go to a mosque. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not sure. I've never been into a mosque, So I found a mosque. I was living in Sheffield in England at the time. Right. And I found a mosque, and I went to mosque, and I'll be honest with you, I'm a confident chap. I run training courses, I stand up in front of hundreds of people. I was so nervous. And so I drove past this mosque, and then I turned around and I drove past it again, and then I thought, do you know what, I'll come back later. And I chickened out, I couldn't do it. And I said, I'll come back later. I'm off Friday afternoon. I'll come back Friday lunchtime. It won't be busy then. I mean, how little I knew. So I turned up at Jummah on Friday, and I'm thinking, is it Christmas? There's thousands of people, and they all were smiling, and they were happy, and they were hugging each other and greeting each other, and I thought, I want a piece of this. So I went into the mosque and just kind of watched and observed and waited for everything to end. And as people were coming out, somebody stopped me and said, are you okay? I said, I just kind of...
Are you here to check the fire escapes?
Are you here to check the fire escapes? And I said, well, I can, but I kind of want to know about Islam. And then boom, the tea came out, the coffee came out, the cakes came out, people went back inside, we were sat down, and I was like, wow. And it was just such a beautiful experience, and this feeling of unity and just of joy. It was amazing. And so within just a matter of months, I'd taken my Shahada, and literally those guys that came into my life have saved my life. You know what I mean? That they've given me a new path, and alhamdulillah, it's amazing, it's incredible. I then met my wife, we got married, we have children, they're raised as Muslims, alhamdulillah. So there's me thinking I had the perfect life, and I didn't know what was ahead of me, and so it's just alhamdulillah, it's amazing.
Alhamdulillah, very interesting story. And the fact that both of you found Islam interesting is because of the way Muslims portray themselves, I think.
Yes.
So that's how it's very important for Muslims to reflect the religion through their actions and through their behavior.
Absolutely. I consider myself incredibly blessed because of the Muslims that were put in front of me at exactly the right time. Had it been somebody else, and had they not been smiling or as accommodating or as nice, maybe I wouldn't be walking this path now. That frightens me, if I'm honest, and I can feel myself.
I'm exactly.
That frightens me. Yeah. But Allah knows best.
Yeah,
Allah knows best.
The final hidayah will come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes, yeah.
It takes a channel to, for it to become
But it just shows how we can affect people just with our nature, and just by smiling as a sunnah, just smiling to people and engaging with people and being kind and being nice and having sabr, being patient and just enjoying life is attractive to people. And when they understand why you're then doing that, it means that Islam is attractive to people. And wow, what can be better than that?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So when you first reverted to Islam, how was your relationship with your other family members who are of different faith? Because we have issues about those religions being problems to people who just converted or who just reverted.
Yeah.
So what about you, both of you?
Yeah.
Okay, I took time to explain to my parents what Islam is. Yeah, and just down to the very word, Islam. Yeah, submission. It's peaceful submission to the will of Allah, of God. Right. And I took time to explain about Islam, and I explain all the similarities between Islam and Christianity, the bits that we agree on. In fact, the most of it
the majority
we agree on. And they kind of said, well, okay, this is all good because you found your faith again.
Yeah.
you found a way to practice your faith again, and we all worship the same God, you know. So we're really happy for you. So it was a case of in their perception, it was me having no outlet for my faith and no practice, to all of a sudden having something that I really grabbed hold of and wanted to take further. So they were quite happy. My brothers, well, you know what brothers are like. So you know, some of them, a couple of them are fine. A couple of them had, had a few questions, but on the whole, they've been fine. They've been good. Yeah, alhamdulillah. But the important message there is you take time to explain about what Islam is, and explain what the Sunnah Arises are, and that you're not suddenly part of some weird cult, and you're not part of something. You know, the thing is that I'm going to preempt another question now as well by saying that when I watch the news, mainstream news, and I read the newspapers, and I hear them talking, I read about Islam, I hear a very different version of Islam to the one that I actually practice and follow. You know, this is a beautiful religion. This is a perfect religion, and I'm very happy with it. But the rhetoric that I hear and read about in the mainstream media isn't good. So I took a decision. We took a decision. We took a decision to put that to rights and actually put the truth out there as to what Islam actually is. So, but we'll come on to that in a short while, inshallah.
I had a very similar experience. My parents were fantastic. They were. I mean, when it came to the religion aspect, they had no issue, and I was really amazed at how knowledgeable they were of Islam. It was lovely. So that made it relatively straightforward. Their main concern, if I'm honest, was just. They were concerned for their son. They were concerned for me, not because of the religion, but because of the perception of the religion. So it was post 9/11. It was kind of in the cloud of a lot of anti-Islam feelings, in effect. And so, for some people, Islam was demonized and was not portrayed particularly nicely. So my parents didn't have an issue with the faith. They were just concerned that I was joining this faith at a time when maybe Muslims might be not treated particularly well, but that was their only issue. It was just love for the son, in effect. But it does bring us to the point that so many people, especially across the West, have a complete misconception of Islam because of how it's portrayed in the media and because of what some people have done supposedly in the name of Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's clouded people's judgments, and people fear what they don't understand. And if they don't understand Islam, it breeds an awful lot of apprehension. And so we just took it upon ourselves to think, well, let's set the record straight. So we kind of got together as well, we're affectionately known as the two white Muslims, and some people have an issue with that, but it's a name that was given to us because we do a lot of work together. We travel up and down the country together, and as we do, whenever it's time for Salah, we'll find a mosque and we'll go into the masjid and we'll pray in the masjid, and we'll try and meet people and just engage and just share this amazing religion. And the number of times when we go back to a mosque, or we'll hear people saying, "Oh, you never guess who we had Junaid and Yusuf in."
Who?
You know, Junaid and Yusuf.
Don't know who you mean.
The two white Muslims.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
And so it just kind of landed. That's just what. Don't go to Muslim here. Shabash, you know. And so it just kind of stuck. So wherever we went, people, "Oh, it's the two white Muslims. It's the two white Muslims." And so we just kept that as a name.
I mean, in reality, if you look at me, I'm pink.
Yes. Today you are.
I am.
You put him out in the sun for a minute. One minute.
I turn lobster.
He goes red
within seconds.
Red passes out.
You're a fortunate fella. You're blue most of the time, but when you go on holiday, you come back relatively tanned, don't you?
People say olive.
Yeah,
people say olive.
So
we
no
don't
time are either of us actually white.
We're not white. We're not white at all. It's just a nickname that was given to us. A pseudonym that's landed, and so we kept it and used it on the channel, and people associate with it because many people, especially in the West, kind of recognise or see Islam as as a religion of foreigners, of a religion from the, maybe the South Indian, South Asian continent, whatever it might be, not, white British people. So for people to see two white Muslims, they engage and they talk and they ask us questions because, it's easy for them to do that. They might feel embarrassed asking what they would consider to be a born Muslim, and they might not want to offend a born Muslim, where they're not bothered with us. They'll ask us anything, which is brilliant. That's the whole point. It's through knowledge and understanding that people unify and people get on. And whilst I believe Islam should be the path of choice for everybody, I know that it won't be, but world peace should be. And we're only all going to get on and unify and unite and kind of come together if we understand each other. Right. And that's what our goal was. So we started the YouTube channel under the title of Two White Muslims. Some people have said, oh, so you're just trying to put a positive slant on Islam. No. We're just telling the truth about Islam. But if you're hearing positivity, maybe listen a little harder. What you're hearing is the truth. And if you're hearing it as positive, brilliant.
We effectively,
it's just the truth.
We created a playlist, and there's 21 videos in this playlist. Now, each of these
this
videos,
is on YouTube, right?
This is on YouTube, yes.
Each of these videos is 3 to 5 minutes long, so it's not a big task having to look at them all. But we tagged that list everything you ever wanted to know about Islam and Muslim culture, but couldn't be bothered to ask. So, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It tells you exactly what you need to see, what you need to know about Islam. And it just tells you what is Islam, who was Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what happens, what are the principles of this faith, what are the 5 pillars all about, what happens in a mosque, what goes on, what's a mosque. What is a mosque?
Yes.
What's in it?
What's in it? What is this thing at the front? How does it work? Why do people take the shoes off? We just explain these things.
My daughter then does 6 videos on women in Islam and women's rights in Islam. That's a very, very important section of this series.
Yes.
We then talk about jihad, we talk about Sharia law, we talk about
Quran,
everything.
Hadith.
We talk about everything.
And we just take it from the standpoint of what didn't we know and what do we now know and how do we get that across to other people? Because as I say, my ignorance knew no bounds. I don't know everything now. We're not sheikhs, we're not scholars. We're learning every single day. But as we learn, we just want to share that with other people. So we did the 21 videos and we worked really hard to do it. There's a huge amount of computer
we effectively
imagery.
took 2 years off to do that.
We didn't just want to sit in front of a camera. We wanted it to be exciting and interesting. So there's lots of things on the screen, just to give people, it had to look good because we don't. You know what I mean? So it had to make up for how we come across.
We have to
2 old men with beards.
We have to distract people from looking at us.
Yes, exactly.
So they're looking at what's happening behind us.
Exactly. But we thought, well, we'll do those 21 videos and then we'll kind of go back to our normal lives and we'll go back to our jobs and I don't know what it's like here, but the bank insists that I keep paying for my house. You know what I mean? And so it's how do we just go back and leave that? And people went, no. People listen and people are enjoying it. So we were intoxicated. We caught the bug and we want to just, it's all we want to do now. But people kind of want us to do it as well. So
people like what we say, that they like the way that we say things. They like the content. And whatever that's the case, whatever people enjoy what we're doing, we'll carry on doing it, inshallah.
So forgive me.
Just a question. Basically, you've been together for how many years? In the show, 2 years, 3 years?
In the show, just almost
2 years.
3 years, yeah.
All right.
It took us nearly 2 years to make the first playlist.
Yeah.
So, how do you got to know each other actually to come with this idea?
Well, I was born and raised in Sheffield. I converted to Islam, and then I was working in Scotland, and I met my wife. And my wife, her family originally from Pakistan. She was born and raised in Scotland, and we got married. She moved down to Sheffield. And then we moved to a place called Wakefield, just outside Leeds, and this is where Brother Yusuf lived.
Okay.
So in the UK, everybody moves on a Friday. Everybody moves on Jummah. So it made me very busy. So we're moving house. So I wasn't able to attend Jummah. So in the evening, I thought, right, I need to make this up. I want to find the local mosque. So I found the local mosque, wandered in. sat down, was waiting for prayer, and a young man sat next to me, gave me salam, and then said, "What are you doing here? I'm the only white man in this mosque."
Are you some kind of imposter?
He didn't really. He just sat down, gave me salam, and we've been inseparable ever since. It was extraordinary. You rue the day, don't you?
I've been trying to shake him off for years.
I'm like a limpet. I'm like a limpet. He can't get rid of me. He can't get rid of me.
With regard to your
Tell me you
YouTube
like me.
with regard to your YouTube channel, do you have people of other faiths subscribing to the channel?
Absolutely, yeah. This has been a huge surprise. The channel, the Two White Muslims, we put the videos out, and now we put out content every week. You know, and we've just uploaded our 150th video, so there's loads of content on there. Right. And we kind of initially wanted it to be for non-Muslims, so that they could learn all about the faith. And we found loads of non-Muslims and people of all faiths were joining in. But then our big surprise was loads of Muslims are also subscribing. Right. So the Muslims, our brothers and sisters in Islam, are enjoying the content because it helps them revive their faith and renew their faith, or reinforce their faith. And then our brothers and sisters in humanity are getting information. So it's a broad spectrum. The comments are coming from all different people, and it's amazing.
So hopefully this will actually help to, overcome the problem of Islamophobia, especially.
Inshallah. Yeah, that is our.
Okay, Kat, we have 30 minutes here.
So we really hope you enjoyed that.
For the 21 video series, everything you ever wanted to know about Islam and the Muslim culture,
but couldn't be bothered to ask.
Click the link in the top right of the screen.
Also, please subscribe by clicking the red button below if you haven't already done so. We want to reach as many people as we possibly can.
Thank you once again for your support, and we'll see you in the next video.
Assalamu alaikum
wa rahmatullahi
wa barakatuh. Bismillah.